What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Draft Day Dynasties. I'm C. Jackson Cowart, the community manager here at Wolverine Studios, and in this episode, we'll be running through the key moments and stats from my first regular season at Hawaii, which got off to a bit of a rocky start on the recruiting trail. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to check out our YouTube channel and catch up on the first 5 episodes where we created our coach, went through our first full recruiting cycle, and ran through some of the best and worst practices for your own associations playing Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2022. Feel free to stick around and check out this stream before you do so. I highly recommend hopping into the chat for this one. We're going to be breaking down the highlights and lowlights from this first season, and I really want to know what you guys want to see from this season as I sort of react to it live. I actually haven't looked at a lot of these stats or box scores or anything. Wanted to wait for all of us to culminate here and see just how good or bad of a job I did in my first year at Hawaii. So 2 quick shout outs at the top before we get started. One is that we're finally on Reddit. It's been a long time coming from the Wolverine Studios community, and I am thrilled to get that up and running. So if you haven't already joined, it's r/Wolverine Studios. Pretty easy to find. Just click that join button. You'll be joining the community, and check out what we're posting there. We're there. We're on Discord, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. You know the deal. The original forums. We're everywhere now. So hopefully we'll be able to find people where they're at. And all of you guys will be able to find each other and really interact with the community and learn more about this game and have us learn more about what you want from it. So definitely check out that Reddit. We'll be running some cool promotions in the next few weeks for anybody who follows us there and on the other social media channels that I mentioned. So definitely do check that out. The other thing that I wanted to mention is you guys should all join us tomorrow in celebrating Franchise Friday. We did it last week. Hashtag Franchise Friday all across our social media channels. It's a cool campaign that we started just to learn more about your associations, your coaching careers, and what you guys are enjoying about the game. So be sure to use the hashtag. Again, it's hashtag Franchise Friday. Pretty easy to remember. Use it across your favorite social media channels tomorrow and show the world what you've been up to. Show me what you've been up to. And help other people find this game that we all love so much. So, all right, enough of all that. Let's go ahead and see how Hawaii did. If you're in the stream right now, go ahead and hop into the chat. I'm curious. I want to see if any of you guys can guess what the record was for Hawaii through the first regular season. So, from the last one, if you remember, we finished up recruiting. We got things ready to launch right into the regular season and see if we could have any success in this first year with a pretty young roster. But an athletic one, good shooters, good passers, no real ball handling to speak of and no size. So I thought that might give us an issue during the regular season, but I'm not sure if I was totally prepared for what this season was going to look like. So let me, hiding on the email screen here so nobody can see the record, but let me just go right to the reveal here, the schedule, and let's see what we've really got ourselves into. 12-17 is the guess from Bill Dozer. Look at that. 13-16. My man, off by 1 game. Look at that. So yeah, not the best first season in Hawaii. Bree says, I hope your first season tastes delicious because fans are hungry for success. Well, there wasn't a lot of success to speak of. Looking at this record, 13-16, 9-11 in conference. Never a good thing when you win almost half your games. That's not what you're looking for in your coaching debut. And we went ahead and lost the last game of the season for good measure, just in case, we wanted to try to get to 500 there in conference. Cal State Northridge Bullfighters said, Ole, that is not going to be in the cards for us. So that's a real bummer. Looking at this, we just never really, and this is, to be honest with you guys, this is the first time I've even seen the schedule. I wanted to sim this and just look at it live with all of you to get a sense of what happened in this season. I knew that I went 13-16, but I didn't know how. So the lineup, if any of you are wondering, I went ahead, I'll just show you the lineup right now, and then we can hop into these games. I set it before the year, didn't change it much. I felt pretty good about the way that we had this set. 32 minutes for our top 4 starters, who are all pretty interchangeable in terms of their value to the team. Victor Willis, we had done here at 24 minutes. That might be a little controversial in a minute when we look a little closer at the stats. But he was a big guy, 2-star guy, clearly not in the same archetype as the rest of these pretty athletic, good shooting forwards and guards that we had. Victor Willis is certainly not that. But he's pretty much the only guy, if you look at the well, I'll just go to his player page here. He's 279. I think he's among the only guys on the team that are even bigger than 210. So, it made sense for him to be in the starting lineup, sort of anchor that, but he's not very athletic. I don't know what his endurance rating is, but I suspected it wasn't going to be super high. So, had him at 24 minutes, and then we had Baker and Hope here, Alvin Baker and Russ Hope, both getting around 20 minutes a game, trying to cycle him out, these two with McInnes and Willis. We had a pretty interchangeable team, which is good when you're running a 1-3-1 zone. You want to really pressure the ball and run these guys down, fatigue them as much as you can, and then bring in the reinforcements. So I felt pretty good about it. I thought that we were going to be onto something here. But if you look, let's see, do you guys want to take a look at the schedule here or the stats? I'm not super particular. Maybe let's just get a sense of what our guys did on the whole, and then we can go a little granular here. So let's sort by minutes, and if you look, everybody did play a pretty even distribution. McInnes played the most just by a hair. Him and Willis both scored 10.8 points a game. They were our leading scorers, so that's, when your leading scorer is averaging 10.8 points, you don't really need to see the record to know that maybe something went wrong there. But we had a pretty good passing team. I mean, McInnes with 3 assists a game, Waldman 4.3. Everybody sort of passing the rock in this rotation. I don't know if there's a lot to be excited about in the statistical profile of this team. I mean, Bree says Celtics from 2020 or 19, but worse. Yeah, we just don't have a leading scorer, and our defense is not good. We allowed 75 points per game, which is especially not good when you're only scoring 73. So I'm very curious, though. Looking at the basic stats, I mean, there's some takeaways here, right? Nobody could really shoot except for Charity, which I came into the year thinking that Charity was going to be kind of our rock-solid guy. Elite rebounder relative to level of competition we're playing. Great on defense. He's athletic. He can, 60 scoring, which is the best on the team. Can create his own shot from outside. I felt really good about what Amari Charity might do, especially as a freshman, 6'7", versatile. I thought he might be the guy for us. And it looks like he's the only one that could make half of his shots. So I think I was on to something there, but not that many field goal attempts per game. He doesn't really have that killer instinct. As a freshman, that's fine. I understand. But I was hoping to see a little bit more from him. And then when you go down here to Victor Willis, this man's playing fewer than 20 minutes a game, and he's scoring 10 points a game. So he was someone that I had no confidence coming into the year that he'd be able to do really anything, and he might have been our best player. In fact, I think if you go by the player estimate, right, player impact estimate, the PI rating, if you will, he might have had one of the highest on the team. Yeah, 13.37. So Victor Willis was man about town. Down low, 279, I would hope he would be. But, man, I might have underestimated his impact on this season, and that might be the reason that we're looking at a losing record here, because I didn't play this guy enough. So let's get a look at the advanced stats, see if that supports my hypothesis here that I kind of threw us into a losing proposition here before the season even started. So if we filter by net rating, which isn't necessarily my favorite, because you get guys like George Ivory, who's a walk-on and has played 5 seconds this year. But if you look here, okay, our regular starters, we got Waldman's a regular, Charity's a regular, and I love to see that from Waldman. That's what I thought. Senior point guard, run the show. Looks like things absolutely went off the rails every time that he left the court. So he was our superstar, or at least he was our stabilizing force. And then you look down here, Charity, Todd Willis, which, just as an aside, there's 3 Willises on this team, which is one of my favorite things about procedurally generated games that just come up with names like this. We have Todd Willis, we have Victor Willis, and we have Craig Willis. Unfortunately, Craig Willis didn't play that much. He's got to bide his time. He's the sophomore, and then the older brother, Victor, and then the oldest brother, Todd. They're all actually, they're brothers. They all are from Hawaii. Good basketball genes. Their mom played in the pros. Their dad never did. Their dad went overseas, played a few, and it doesn't matter. None of that's important. But Todd Willis here, he had a decent net rating. Looks like Alvin Baker off the bench did all right. But look at my man Victor Willis. minus 5.2. Every time he was on the court, bad things happened, even though he's scoring 10 points a game. Bill Dozer said, can you check defensive stats? My favorite stat is points allowed per possession faced. That's my favorite too. I'm going to look at that in just a second to see who's maybe proving themselves on the other end in a way that's harder to check statistically. But let's look at usage rate here, and I think that's going to answer a lot of questions. Yeah, Victor Willis right here, 33% usage rate. So, of course he scored 10 points a game. The dude's shooting literally a third of the time that he's on the court, the ball ends in his hands. And we know from before he shot worse than 50% of the field. He shot worse than 50% effective field goal percentage. Makes sense. He never shot a three. That's tough. It's tough. I don't know how, Bill, I'd be curious your opinion when you're looking at stats like this from a team. Let's say you're doing sort of a longer sim. How do you even value the guys that are clearly, box score putting up numbers, but then you look at something like this and their net rating is poor, their usage is high. How do you trust that? I tend to look at that and go, well, that's somebody who's just swallowing up possessions. I can ignore the box score stats, trust my initial scouting instincts, and don't play him more. But we're getting ready for the conference tournament. It's do or die every single game, and Victor Willis seems to be, the one guy on our team that we can sort of go to for a bucket, I guess, right? I mean, Charity's a better scorer, but Victor Willis is the only one that's actually willing to make a shot. So I'm wondering if in this final game, instead of playing Victor Willis 22-24 minutes, whether we should be looking more like 28 to 30 and really just let him, his PER is the highest on the team. So it's hard for me to look at that and go, I should play him less or even, leave him where he's at and play him less than the rest of my team. But I just don't know how much I trust that his scoring isn't just based on volume. So that's the sort of thing, even not related to the Hawaii Association. For those of you who are playing at a smaller school, playing with guys where you don't necessarily trust their scouting grades because you don't really trust your assistant coaches, and you don't know who is actually producing, those are kind of the questions you have to ask yourself as you look at the box score stats. You go, oh, this guy's scoring 10 points a game, or maybe hopefully he's scoring more like 15 in your associations, and leading your team and seems like the go-to guy. But then you look at these advanced stats and you start to get a bigger picture of, okay, well, of course he's scoring that much. He's taking all the shots. All right, miscellaneous stats. Bill's wondering, defensively, points allowed per shot faced. That's right here, PA/SF. And let's see who really stood out here. So we'll go from the top and see who was terrible. Kyle Penn, good thing we played him about 5 seconds this year. But, Amari Charity. Real charity case on defense. Classic freshman mistakes from this guy. I would imagine. He probably just doesn't know the scheme. But, man, when you're running a 1-3-1 zone and you're not really accountable for any individual shooter or scorer and you're allowing this many points per shot faced, that's not great. So who's facing those shots and how are they doing? This is the way I like to sort this stat in my own sim. So Todd Willis is getting the most people going at him. That makes sense. He was our starting three. A lot of opposing teams seem to have wings that are kind of their primary scorers. And he held up. He played really well on defense. Charity, not so much. McInnes was okay. Victor Willis was actually surprisingly good in the middle of that 1-3-1 zone. Looks like the Willis parents really know how to teach him up on defense. And then you go down the line a little bit, guys facing fewer shots here. Not terrible, I guess. You don't really want them to be flirting with one. That's not ideal. But if you can get under one, that's pretty solid. Waldman with a .71, clearly just our anchor on offense and our anchor on defense. We're probably playing Waldman even more than we are. And then anything else interesting here? Maybe drives faced. That's really only going to affect Waldman. But look at that. He stopped 91.9% of drives. That's pretty effective. So, super effective, if you will. So, Dante Waldman, we know, is a defensive stud. Deserves to be playing every second that he's playing, if not more. Little questions down low with Willis, with the middle Willis. But, all right. So, let's look at the schedule here and see what actually happened this season. Because so maybe Charity has an overrated defense rating. Willis was also good at steals and blocks under advanced stats. Which Willis is that, Bill? I'm assuming you probably mean the big guy. Yeah, Charity on defense, his rating. See, I have all my defensive ratings written down here, but it might be quicker to just go ahead and check the roster. The center, yeah. So yeah, on defense, Charity was a 68 on defense. He was apparently our best defender, but I don't really think the stats bear that out at all. So I wouldn't be surprised, like Bill is hinting at, that might change next year if we get a bit more of a scouting profile on this guy and have more certainty in that. He might not be the defender that he was cracked up to be from the reports from high school. So let's look at the schedule. I want to run through some of these top games that happened this year. Week 1 against the North Carolina Rams, or game 1, I should say. Not the result that I was hoping for, but honestly, I'm proud of my guys. Look at this. It's a 13-point game. We outscored them in the second half. Charity came to play. Victor Willis came to play. I mean, you can't be too mad about that, right? Yikes. Look at that. They allowed the Rams to shoot 50% from the field while shooting 14% from 3. I didn't major in statistics, but I do know that is really, really bad interior defense. Like, exceptionally bad. What is that? 33 of 51? That's unreal. I'm going to do that math in my head. That's 64.7%. Unreal. So, terrible defense right off the bat. And that probably set the tone for the rest of the season. That's what you get when you run a 1-3-1. You end up giving a lot of easy buckets inside. I know. I understand that. I'm not new to this. But you still hope that they don't allow almost 65% underneath. So, got trounced by Villanova. Don't think we really need to check that. Top 15 team. That's to be expected. And then they just never really got a rhythm. This Provo game, that's an emotional game after Provo stole Mike Jordan out from under us. And again, it was Charity and Willis. Looks like that's probably going to be the story of a lot of this season, is these two were able to put up some points, but on the other end, look at that again. We allowed 47.5% from the field, but 13% from 3. So that's 27 of 46. That's brutal. That's 58% underneath. So early on in the season, clearly they just had no chance at stopping any other teams inside Says here comes the Mike Jordan beef. Yeah, look, I'm scheduling Provo again next year, and we're gonna try to get them at home because I'm very, very upset about the Mike Jordan fiasco. So anyway, getting back to non-conference, yeah, they just really sort of crashed and burned at the end here. Got a couple wins against Tennessee Tech and Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Crows, really like that. Shout out to the Crows there, but. Entering conference play, I mean, they went 4-5 in non-conference, and then just never stood a chance. I mean, you look at some of these losses. It's a 9-point loss, a 25-point loss, 21. I mean, golly, these guys just never got a rhythm. You look, one of the Willises was leading the team in scoring for almost the entire end of the season here. Victor and Todd just trading places on the scoring leaderboard, but it didn't seem to matter at all. I mean, 2 losses here. Did we even string back-to-back wins till the end of the year? We had those 2 wins against Tech and Brooklyn, and then just L after L after L. So we did win 4 of our last 6 games, but then got blown out by 20 points. I will say, for context, around this point in the season, Charity did have a bit of what was his injury? Like a toe injury or something? What was it? Sore hip. Yeah, that young, spry man, 19 years old, his hip was really bothering him. And then a couple weeks later, McInnes, who at that point was our leading scorer, I think he ended the year as our leading scorer too, he got hurt. He sprained his ankle. So I had to lower his minutes a bit, and I think that's where a lot of these losses are coming from. But team picked it up near the end. Conference tournament ahead, Long Beach State, the Miners. If we can win that game, we can at least prolong our season long enough. We probably have to win the conference tournament, though. I'm thinking that it's really going to be that or bust. That we're a 1-bid conference, even on a good day, and this is a real bad day for Hawaii. So, all right, is there any box scores you guys want to take a look at here, or anything in particular? I'm curious about our overall team insights. I'm going to look at that. And then if we have time at the end here, I don't know what you guys think about, do we sim the conference tournament? Do we adjust our rotation? I think at the very least we should look at our rotation, see if there's anything that you guys think we should change just based on some of these stats here. And the one that I'm going to look at, my favorite screen maybe in this entire game is lineup tracking. I love looking at this screen. This lets me know what combinations am I running that are actually working. So here we go. We have a few that did seem to outscore other teams. And interesting. Our best lineup of the entire year is the one where Victor Willis came out. Is the one where we took out our center and our most efficient scorer by some metrics, right? Highest PER. He had the highest usage rate, so he was the guy that our offense went to the most. Our best lineup is when we just simply took him out. We took out him and Brian McInnes, our leading scorer, and put in our two backup wings, and that lineup crushed with Charity as our center. So at the very least, that gives me confidence for next year. We do have a center coming in our recruiting class, but if that doesn't work out, we're going to run Charity at center a lot next year. Even though he's 6'8" and string bean thin, he's a guy that maybe we can rely on these small lineups as a passer in the Princeton offense, the middle of that 1-3-1 zone. That's very interesting to me that this lineup did as good as any. So, and then you look down here, yikes. Anytime we took out Dante Waldman, things did not go good, especially this lineup where we had McInnes as our starting one. He's a pretty good passer, but it simply was not good enough to offset not having our best player in there. So, same thing here. We're doing all right. We take out Waldman, put in Craig Willis, just get absolutely destroyed. So, I'm going to go to our lineup right here, and I'm going to bump up, we're going to go depth. I'm going to bump up the minutes here for Waldman. I know he's already playing 32, but I think he's got to play more. I think, especially in this second half, we got to put him here. We know that anytime the third Willis brother comes in, real bad things happen. Sorry, you're not ready. You're not on your brother's level. So I think we're going to have to play Waldman then and just let our coaches take him out if he can't breathe anymore. Like, that's really our only option here. And then I think we put him in here. And, it's not like McInnes really had a great net rating or was really looking good on those lineups that we were looking at. So I think we do that, and then I think we let Charity go to work a little bit more. So I don't know if I really need Victor Willis in here playing center. Like, I think I'm out on Willis. I know he's, has some of the highest box score indicators, but I just don't think he's helping our team win. So let's see what happens when I put in Charity right here. Let's allocate some more minutes there. Let's allocate some more minutes there. So now we have Charity playing 36 minutes. I know he's rough on defense, but guys, I'm telling you, I'm all in on this guy. And then maybe if we can get somebody else. I don't know. I actually feel pretty good about this lineup. I think this is the lineup that we roll into conference tournaments with. Yeah, I feel good about it. What do you guys think? Should we try to sim this conference tournament and see if we have any shot here and just put an end to the misery of this season if they don't advance, or do we save that as a little tease for the next one? I'll look at this lineup while we do, just to make sure there's nothing that I can tweak to really make a material difference in my team's ability here. But I'm going to go ahead and store this lineup. And then I think we take a shot. I think we go up here and we see what we can do against, who is it that we're going up against here? Sim the day. And a big day coming ahead here for Hawaii. Will the season end today? I hope it doesn't, but I think it might. Let's do it. Let's hop right. Well, let's preview it. Let's see what they think is going to happen here. So they are very injured. They have one guy's got a strained calf, one guy's got a sore hip, one guy's got a sprained ankle. They're all going to play. So we're playing against a Long Beach State team that is not at full strength. We've assessed our issues here. We're playing our big guy less. We're playing our center a little less. We're putting in Charity at center, trying to take advantage of what that lineup looks like. Use our shooting outside. Use our athleticism. We're playing Waldman more. Seems like he can handle it. He is turning it over a lot, but our entire team turns it over when he's not on the court. I think that'll do it. And I think what we're going to do, I'm going to hold off on this. I'm going to save right here. Next stream, what we're going to do is we're going to stream from the top. We're going to hop right into this game, and we're going to see if we can keep our season alive. Bill Dozer says, do you have any players who get into foul trouble or have injury risk? There's a lot of players on the court for 10-plus minutes consecutively. So I don't have a lot of players who have injury risk, which is nice. I did have 2 injuries during the year, but they were minor, and the guys played through them. And then when I was looking at the foul trouble earlier, I really didn't notice anybody standing out too bad. Yeah, it's actually pretty solid. Charity at a 2.8, which, we just bumped his minutes up, but 2.8 is something that I can live with, and the coaches, look, if it's not working, coaches will take him out, but I think we're going to live or die with Charity. He's the only guy of our main players who's shooting better than 50%. He's clearly versatile in terms of his ability to rebound and pass, and really kind of a swing guy on this team. So I think they can handle it. And Waldman especially, he just doesn't foul. He plays 28 minutes a game, doesn't foul, leads our team in assists, and every single time he leaves the floor, terrible, horrendous, atrocious things happen. So I think he's somebody we're going to have to leave on there. And Bill says, yeah, freshman post players tend to get in foul trouble at times. I'm not super surprised with the way the Charity's played. The thing is, we are in a zone, so it's not like he's necessarily getting bullied by guys down low, because that's not really a situation he should find himself in. But my guess is he's probably just trying to go for steals. I mean, he's better than this on defense, 0.9 steals. It should be closer to what some of his teammates are looking at. I mean, Russ Hope, 1.6. Like, Charity should be up there, and I think it's just probably not working for him. Just going for fouls, making stupid classic freshman mistakes. So let's look at this inbox and just get a bit of a teaser on what Long Beach State looks like. I know we looked at the view report earlier in the small screen, but let's really get a look at this. So the game prediction says I got a 56% chance of keeping my season alive. So, all right, I can live with that. We have an advantage at point guard, as I would hope. Dante Waldman is our shining beacon. And then it is split down the middle in terms of them thinking that we have, that we're just, nobody has the advantage across the board, even on the bench, even though my bench, I would think, would have an advantage over theirs. And then you come down, turnovers are pretty dead even, 3-point shooting, field goal percentage, points for, points against. This is going to be an absolute dogfight. And I'm terrified that our season could end at the hand of the Long Beach State Miners, which is ironically the team that I'm running on my own personal save. I love Long Beach. I love Long Beach like my own. I feel like the guys that I recruited in my Long Beach sim are like actual family to me. So this is an emotional game for Jackson Cowart, the fictional coach at Hawaii. But it's a game that we have to win if we want to keep our season alive. And I think we can do it. We have the guys. We have the talent. We know that Waldman is a steady hand. We know what Charity can do. We know that Willis, when he's on, he's on. So, all right. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. So, looking at this season, things haven't gone exactly how we hoped. But, we learned a lot about our team. We know who can step up. We know that, hey, Victor Willis, whatever minutes he plays in this game, he's going to shoot. And that's fine. If that's what he's going to do, that's what he's going to do. We know his older brother can pick up the slack as well. And I want to see Charity, who was the leading scorer against Long Beach State when we played them last time. In fact, let's just look at that box score. We played Long Beach State twice this year. We won both games by 17 points and 11 points. And the last time we played them, Charity went off. 16 points, 7 of 10. He had 5 rebounds. He fouled out, and he still was a monster. And our defense was better, holding him to under 50% from the floor. I think we can do this, but it's going to be tight. So, all right, we'll end it there. It's a good tease for next week. So in next week's episode, like I said, we're going to go ahead and sim these conference tournament games. We might even go a little 2D action if you guys are into it, but just on a fast sim. And see if we can keep this Hawaii season alive. See if we can maybe crash the big dance, make a little noise with the 1-3-1 defense, which is really tough to prepare against on short notice. So That'll be it for this episode. That's what we're going to be doing next week. 2 things before we go. One, as always, if you're not subscribed to our Twitch channel, highly recommend it. It's the best thing you can sub to on Twitch, at least in our opinion. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free sub by linking it with your Twitch account. So go ahead and do that and use it on us. It helps us tremendously. It helps the company. It helps me. So everybody who subs, I've offered this before. I'll offer it again. Shoot me a message on Twitter or Discord with a screenshot of you, subbing on Twitch, and I will tell you which Hawaiian fish you most resemble based on your username. Bill, I'm looking at you. I want you to sub, and I already have a Hawaiian fish in mind for you, but I'm not going to tell you until you do it. So that's the first thing. The second thing, like I mentioned at the top, don't forget to post about your teams and careers with hashtag Franchise Friday tomorrow on social. You know where to post. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Post hashtag Friday on any of those. And check us out on social at those places, on Twitch like you are here. Thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday night. Check out the old episodes of this on YouTube. Check us out on Discord, Slack, our new Reddit channel. Please check us out there. And, of course, the official Wolverine Studios forums, where it all started, where it'll continue. You can find us there, ask us questions, let us know what you think of this game, let us know what you think of this stream. And in the next week, if you think I should make any lineup adjustments, please do. Let's take the next 7 days and get Hawaii to the tournament. Hashtag get Hawaii to the big dance. If you ever want to reach out to me directly, you can reach me here on Twitch or on Twitter at CJacksonCowart. You can find me on the Discord, or you can find me anywhere on the Wolverine Studios, and I will get back to you very shortly. Thank you guys again for watching and chiming in on this one. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.